Righto. Some of you have been asking this for 2 days, some for 2 years plus. Anyway, we'll get there. This is alternative fuels in a Toyota, or in general. So there we go. I have a bit. We generally have fuel that looks like this. Right. Grab a bit more. I'm going to put it in the fire. This is what it looks like. Settled engine / cooking oil, canola, whatever you want to call it. Right. I'm going to put this in my fire because it helps it burn way cleaner than this, which I'm burning plastic and car parts and you name it. And then what I have got a hold of recently, which isn't ideal, but hey, I've got it, is transformer oil. Let's tip that out. It's not old transformer, it's actually new transformer oil, and it has been used to flush an old transformer, but to the tune of 3,000 litres for about a 400 to 600 litre transformer. So yeah, it is all but crystal clear. Old transformer oil is highly carcinogenic, not good shit. Don't use it. Don't run it in your vehicle unless we've gone full fucking, what would you call it? I don't know, full everything. You know what we're talking about. Jesus. Right, there we go. Beautiful. Considering that is burning plastic, car parts, PVC, you name it, it's relatively clear. Alright, so that's what's going on with the oil situ. As for this is the pod I pull everything out of. Yes. This is where I put oil into, and this is where I pull it out of directly. Pull it from the bottom of the pod. It is black as the ace of spades. It is a pretty consistent mix of everything. I'm not going to put it in the fire because it's got a pretty considerable amount of petrol in it. I've nearly blown myself up, kind of considerable amount. Yeah, all sorts of spares, you name it. I've got Bowser pump. I run this. This is just filter housing. 10 micron, designed for gravity feed tanks on stations, you name it. It sits there. I'll just go show you the filters. Hang on. These are the filters. They are 10 micron. If it'll, they are 10 micron. They're the filters that go in that housing that I just showed you. Removes a little bit of the water. Here's what it is. Nothing special. Doesn't remove all the water. Don't rely on it. Is what I do use, and I don't have one here. I'll have to find one and put it in another video because I genuinely have nothing to even show, is Fuel Doctor. So that helps fats and water stay mixed with the fuel, and that also, you know, helps against carpeting up, injectors, swell pots, you name it. So give us a minute, I'll go out and show you the cars. Alright, so this is the car, nothing special, she's a fucking proper dunger. Cost me $800, and the only thing I do to it is pay rego, really. I use second-hand oil, not buy, but acquire second-hand tyres. These are off military G-Wagons from the Australian Defence Force. Cracked as fuck, dry. They're just shit. No, what are they, 2011, so they're 13 years old already. Anyway, when you have low voltage thing going in those Bowser pumps, they don't do their normal shut off, so you end up with overspill, and is what happens with cooking oil is it plasticizes. Nope. Clean as. That literally turns into like a plastic dip that doesn't come off at all, and it just builds and builds and builds. Same goes. We'll get back to that car. Anyhow, this car, unmodified. Quite literally nothing done to it. Yes, it needs a bit of ether to get it started, especially in the cold. These are a pressure filter on this motor, so they last far longer than they do on any other motor. I was getting about 4,000 Ks a filter out of them, which was awesome. Now, for whatever reason, I think I've got something shit in the tank or something's gone on. I'm only getting about 500, 600 Ks to a filter. So I'm not sure. I'm yet to work that out. That's just pure laziness. The other big thing is these pumps, right? There's your fuel pump. There's your fuel pump. This is an inline pump. These pumps are lubricated and cooled with oil from the engine. The only fuel that runs through them is the fuel that goes into the engine to be burnt. Cars with a VE pump, they use fuel to lubricate and cool the pump themselves. VE or rotary or however you want to call it. And they are no good, because what ends up happening is the fat and water deposits end up building up in the bottom of the pump. And when that happens, they eventually get to a point where they deadhead and physically explode the housing. I know a couple of blokes here where I live that have done exactly that on Range Rovers or Land Rovers, whatever you want to call them. Either way, the pieces of shit. And yeah, they were my only competition in town for acquiring old vegetable oil from takeaway shops, and yeah, they've got their own dramas. So in that case, yeah, if you got a centrifuge, you can do it. You can do whatever you want and run it in nearly anything. But in my case, I like to keep it cheap. I run straight oil, settled in the pod, filtered through that one filter, straight in the tank, and away I go. This particular motor in this car has been going for, it'd be pretty close to 10 years, if not 10 years. This motor has been going 5 years. This is a toy. It's not quite the same. That motor in that grey car was in this. So something else to make a point of is what I'll show you is how corrosive this shit is. So, that's zinc. It's just turned to paste. So it's something to be mindful of. That's about to get a bit of an overhaul, but things like that you got to be mindful of. Like I said, this one is a toy. Nothing about it is road going. But it's been going probably 5 years on a rough motor. Still goes. But the biggest thing you'll find with running alternative oils is nursing them. If you putt around and you drive, to be frank, like a Nancy, you're gonna run into dramas. That's when you get the choking, coking, whatever you want to call it. But you need to give it a bit here and there. I don't know what else to say, like just give it a bit. This grey car, I drive it, I cruise around every now and then, I'll fucking do a bit of this and a bit of that. The other day I redid the brakes and did a shed skid. Yeah. So you need to just not nurse them. That's what I found. Well, I don't know about everyone else, but yeah. The other thing I've found that is great going on straight oil. So where I live in summer, we're 45 degrees during the day. In winter, we can get as low as 0, sort of -2. 2 batteries in full parallel. No fucking around. All the cranking amps and just send it. That's your best bet. That way, when it is cooler, you've got that fucking oomph to get it started. Same reason that Japanese 80s and 90s vehicles all had 24-volt starting systems. Run yourself 2 12s in parallel. It will give you far more oomph and you'll get your car started easy. If anybody tries to deny that, they can go fuck themselves, because that is it. Anyhow, so if you got any questions, let us know. In the way of running alternative oils, I'm not saying I know it all, but I've been doing it pretty damn close to 10 years now, and I've got a bit of a collection of parts. Mind you, I've only done it in one style of motor, 2H turbo and 12 HT. So to be fair, anything outside of that, I'm not sure. But if that motor runs either of those injection systems, well, same, eh? Let us know. Yeah.